Dreams are great until they become nightmares. And sometimes nightmares can happen with people and their finances. This is what happened to my friend John, his father Bill, and his sweet and loving mother Cindy. Bill was an amazing chef. Cooking was his passion. For years, Bill and Cindy sacrificed and saved every cent they had. Then one day they took the leap of faith and opened a high-end Italian restaurant. That one decision completely altered the financial trajectory of their family. Bill, Cindy, and John went from struggling lower class to wealthy and successful business owners like it seemed overnight. They were living the American dream. Life was great. One day, Bill met an individual who called himself a financial advisor. Bill was uneducated in the world of investments and finance, so he listened to what the guy had to say. Bill purchased some mutual funds and some life insurance. The so-called advisor told Bill he was good and that his financial future was secure. A few short years later, the unexpected happened. Bill was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and he died within 3 short months. Everything they had sacrificed and worked so hard for instantly fell apart. The mutual funds and life insurance were terrible. Only gave them a small amount of money in comparison to what they really needed. Bad advice led to a struggle and financial pain. Cindy did all she could to keep things going, but in the end, it was just too much. Within 6 months of Bill's death, Cindy had to file bankruptcy and she lost everything. Cindy even had to move in with her son. Her son slept on the couch while he gave his mother his room. She had to start over from zero. I remember my friend John telling me this story, seeing the sadness and pain from his family's struggle on his face. The scary truth is that this stuff happens all the time, and it would be easy to think that Bill and Cindy would have or should have known better. But how would they have known better? They haven't been educated in finances, investments, or anything like that. They were good, honest, hardworking people, and the only thing they were guilty of was trusting the wrong person, which that can happen to any one of us. That is why today I'm going to share with you some of the most important topics you should be discussing in your family's financial plan. Some people refer to this as complete wealth management or comprehensive financial planning. Now, this is not going to be everything, but it is what I believe are some of the most extremely important topics and what I call the must-haves. I tried to make this simple and break it down into 6 important categories. Write these down, and then I'll explain a little bit about each category. Number 1, money management. Number 2, advanced retirement planning. Number 3, risk management. Number 4, tax management. Number 5, income management. And number 6, estate management. Let's start with number 1, money management. This is the fun part that I love. This is investment strategies. This is how you make money. You need to know when to buy, when to sell, when to be a little bit more aggressive, when to be a little bit more conservative, what to buy, and most importantly, why you own an investment. Warren Buffett says this is one of the most important questions you should always ask yourself when investing. Why? Here would be a good example. I own 40 of the best dividend-growing stocks. A dividend-growing stock is a company that has consistently increased their dividend every year and for a very long period of time. Even during tough economic times like the dot-com bubble in 9/11 of early 2000s, the global financial crash of 2007-2009, which was one of the worst recessions since the Great Depression, and COVID of 2020, even when the entire world shut down. During these times, these companies not only paid their dividend in full and on time, but they also increased them every year as well. I own these dividend-growing stocks because they provide 2 different sources of return. One being regular dividend income payments, and number 2 is capital appreciation of the stock price. This total return can significantly add up over time, and is a safe way to invest because great dividend-growing stocks are usually great companies, usually some of the largest companies in the world, very reliable, fantastic financial condition, and consistently have strong cash flow. Dividend-growing stocks give me reliable income, which has historically increased at a much higher rate than inflation. All the while, my principal has historically grown over time as well. And the icing on the cake, yet another amazing thing about these investments, I did nothing besides buy them and leave them alone. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't go 9 to 5, didn't send any meetings, take any calls. I own the stock, which means I'm a partial owner in the company. I get to share in the profits. You see, this is a great example of answering the question, why you own every single one of the investments that you have. Category number 2, advanced retirement planning. Our clients tell us exactly the life they want in retirement, the lifestyle which is going to make them happy. Then our team goes to work. Based off how much money they need at the specific age when they want to retire, we then tell them how much they need to invest, what specific investment strategies to use, what is the minimum return needed for what specific period of time. That will make sure they reach a total amount of money at the desired retirement age. This is called capital needs analysis. You might have heard it before, it's called what's my number. That specific amount of money needed will then be used to give them a safe income for the rest of their life, being able to do all the things they want without ever running out of money. It is important for you to know the answer to these questions. Number 3, risk management. Risk management is all about protection. It is protection in 2 areas. One being your money and investments, and number 2, protection for your family and your way of life. The first area of risk management and protection is protection of your money. You need to know how aggressive your investments are. How would your investments respond during a down market? What are the risk metrics for loss? Do you know your own comfort level of volatility and if that matches up with your investment portfolio? You need to understand the arithmetic of loss. The arithmetic of loss is a mathematical formula for what it would take to break even after experiencing a loss or investment performance. This is extremely important. If you have been building up your retirement assets for a while, then you will know and have experienced markets going up and markets going down. But if you are close to retirement or already in retirement, a significant loss can be devastating. It can wreck your financial plan. That is because simple arithmetic makes any investment loss tougher to recover from. In percentage terms, the more you lose, the harder it becomes to get back to what you have lost and to get back even again. See if you can answer this question. If you have $1 million invested and in year 1, the stock market goes down 50%, and then in year 2, it goes up 50%. At the end of year 2, how much money would you have? Remember, you started with $1 million. Most people would say, well, Nick, went down 50, up 50, I'm back at $1 million, right? That's actually incorrect. If you started $1 million and lost 50% in year 1, you're at $500,000. And then in year 2, when the stock market goes up 50%, you're only gaining 50% on $500,000. You would end up at the end of year 2 at only $750,000, still down $250,000 from your original investment level. This is called the arithmetic of loss. When you lose money, you have a smaller amount of money to have to make more gains than you lost to get back to even. If you lose 20%, you need to make 25% just to get even. If you lose 30, you need 43% gains to get even. If you lose 40%, you need 67% of gains to get even. And if you lose 50% of your principal, you need 100% of gains just to get back to even at your original starting dollar amount. Now let's take it one step further. What is the arithmetic of loss? If you are currently in retirement, taking distributions, living off your investments. For this example, let's assume you're taking out 4% distributions every year to live off of. If you are taking a 4% distribution every year, which is very common, it's actually a conservative number, and you experience a 10% loss, did you know over the next 5 years you have to make 43% gains just to get back even again? If you take a 20% loss, you would have to make 67% of gains over the next 5 years just to get back even again. If you take a 30% loss, you would need 100% of gains. And if you took a 40% loss while taking out 4% a year to live off of, you would need a shocking 150% return over the next 5 years just to get back even again. Please take a minute to look at these numbers. If you are close to retirement or in retirement taking retirement income distributions, the arithmetic of loss is incredibly important. This is something you need to understand. You need to have a strategy for. Many people don't talk about it. The next area of risk management is protection for your family and your way of life. Ask yourself these questions. What would my family do if I died today? What would you do if your spouse died today? What would you do if your spouse or both of you lost your jobs today? What would happen to your family if you became disabled? What would happen to you and your family if someone experienced an unexpected severe illness or accident? In your comprehensive financial plan, you need to discuss and have a strategy in place for these unfortunate life events. It's called planning for the unexpected. Now you see why risk management is so important. Most people believe risk management is just filling out a risk tolerance questionnaire dealing with volatility. But your plan should include much, much more. Number 4, tax management. This would include tax-sensitive and tax-conscious investment strategies. Let's look at this example. If you have investment A and it makes 15% a year, and investment B makes 13% a year, which is better? Most would say A, right? But what if I told you A was taxed at 20% and B was tax-free? Investment B would be better. Remember, investing comes down to ROI, return on investment. What is the dollar amount that goes into your pocket? Another tax management strategy would be tax harvesting strategies, like the 31-day wash sale rule. Did you know historically on average, on a 10-year period, usually 7 of those years are positive and 3 are negative? So during those down years, which will happen if done correctly, you can create what I call ghost losses, and they're tax write-offs without actually losing money in the future. You can also have QCD conversations. And that's a big myth out there. People say, well, I can only use $3,000 of tax write-off. No, your net loss can be only $3,000. If I have $1 million of gains and I have $1 million of losses, they cancel each other out and I pay no taxes. You can only have $3,000 of net losses. So 31-day wash sale rule is very important. You also have QCD conversions, tax withholding strategies, Roth conversions, contribution distribution strategies, backdoor Roths. These are just a few of many tax management strategies you should be discussing to benefit your financial plan. Number 5, income management. Income management involves your future income planning. Where is it coming from? How will you protect it? Do you know your reliance rate? Your reliance rate is the percentage that you are relying on your investments to produce income for you compared to your total desired retirement income. Do you know your withdrawal rate? This is the total dollar amount percentage form compared to the total dollar amount of your portfolio. Is your withdrawal rate high, low, compared to other retirement plans? What happens if the market drops? What happens to your reliance rate and withdrawal rate? Then another extremely important factor when it comes to income management, sequence of returns risk. The phenomenon known as sequence of return risk refers to the proven fact that the order and timing of poor investment returns or a down market can have a huge impact on your long-term retirement savings plan. There is a very important window of a few years before you retire and the first few years of your retirement. How your investments perform during this window can have the power to make or break your retirement plan. It is that important. Sequence of returns can sway your retirement by millions of dollars over a 20 or 30 year period. You need to be planning and discussing how you protect your family and your income from sequence of returns risk. Then lastly, number 6, estate management. Estate management is your legacy plan. What happens when you die? This can sometimes be a hard conversation to have, but it's an important conversation. It needs to happen. It is called an effective and efficient transfer. That means what is the fastest way and the lowest cost way to get your money and assets exactly where your desired destination would be. That could be loved ones, charities, churches, and organizations. Do you know the difference between probate assets and non-probate assets? How are they transferred? How are they treated? What are the options and strategies based off what you want to see happen? Do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you need a trust? Do you have all your estate documents in order? Does every account, all the bank accounts, investment accounts, do you have beneficiaries? When's the last time you reviewed your beneficiaries and estate documents? Again, be able to answer the question why. Why do you have these documents? What is your strategy? What will give you the most effective and efficient transfer after you pass? This is your legacy. You want to see it be a blessing to your family forever. As you can see, there is a lot of planning and strategy that is needed for a comprehensive financial plan or a complete wealth management plan. And this is just a summary. My goal is to give you some important information to make sure you and your family are on the right path. Our goal is to help you maximize your finances in order to give you a better life. We want you to live a life of peace and laughter, a life of financial happiness. I hope this helps. God bless.